Fluent Podcasts, podcasts he never had before.
Welcome to Fluent Podcast. You're tuned in to the English Learning Podcast. And today, we are tackling a question that honestly comes up all the time. How to study English alone effectively. It's a really common challenge, isn't it? You want to boost your English, you want to improve fast, but maybe you don't have a speaking partner handy or a teacher or even, other learners around you. It can feel a bit isolating sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. That feeling of isolation is very real. But what's really encouraging in the sources we looked at is that studying alone isn't just possible.
Yeah.
It can be incredibly effective. You just need the right strategies, maybe a bit of creativity.
Right. So our mission today is to unpack some really practical tips, maybe some aha moments from the resources we've gathered. We want to show you how to turn that solo study time into a real engine for fluency. We're talking everything from setting goals to creative speaking exercises you can do right in your own home.
Building your own little English world, basically.
Oh, exactly. Okay, so let's unpack this. Our first set of insights really breaks down English improvement into 3 core areas. Crucial areas you need to focus on, even when you're studying solo.
Yeah, this framework is super helpful because it covers, all the bases of language learning. These 3 pillars are input, output, and study. And what the sources point out is that many learners, they often focus on just 1 or 2.
Which leads to hitting a wall, right? That plateau.
Precisely. You miss a piece of the puzzle.
Okay, pillar 1, input. So what does input really mean in this context? It's basically listening, watching, reading, consuming English. But here's where it gets interesting for a solo learner.
The key, and this came up again and again, is to make it effortless, not a chore.
Right.
Don't force yourself to read, Shakespeare if you hate it.
Please don't.
Instead, figure out your interests, your goals, what actually excites you, and then actively search for English content about those things.
Makes sense. Like Netflix, YouTube, podcasts. They're overflowing with English stuff. Find YouTubers talking about your hobbies or a podcast you genuinely love. The sources even suggest spending a whole week just digging for that perfect channel or series.
Yeah, that upfront investment, it pays off because your daily input becomes something you actually look forward to. You're consuming content you'd probably enjoy anyway.
Okay, so you've got all this input coming in.
Then it needs to come out. That's output.
Yeah.
Your speaking and writing practice, so many learners, you keep everything in their brain. They absorb.
And then when it's time to speak, poof, gone.
Exactly. They struggle to actually use the language.
The words just don't come out. But consistent practice, even talking to yourself, makes it easier. It's like exercising your speaking muscles, as one source put it.
It really is. You have to practice speaking until it becomes more automatic, more effortless, turning passive knowledge active.
Okay. Input, output. What's the third pillar?
Study. And this one is often overlooked, but it's so important.
And study here isn't just grammar drills, is it?
Not at all. It's more about self-assessment.
Yeah.
Analyzing your own weaknesses. If you constantly trip up on a certain sound or maybe a specific grammar point keeps confusing you, that's what you focus on.
So you become your own detective.
Pretty much.
Huh.
You don't always need a teacher to tell you what's wrong. Once you reach a certain level, you can often spot your own patterns, your own struggles.
And a powerful tool for this mentioned in the sources is keeping a journal. Could be anything, right? Handwritten, Word doc.
Or even a visual diary, like on Instagram or something. Write down new words, sentences you like, phrases, idioms. If you see something cool in a movie, snap a picture, add notes. It creates this visual log of your learning journey.
I love that. A visual log. Okay, so input, output, study, those are the big categories. Now let's get into the real practical stuff. How do you actually do some of this alone, especially that speaking practice? That feels like the biggest hurdle.
Yeah, definitely. But our sources offered some fantastic methods for solo speaking, techniques that let you kind of mimic native speakers, build confidence, and really cement what you're learning.
Okay, lay them on us. First up.
Shadowing.
Shadowing, right, like mimicking or listening and repeating.
Exactly. You watch videos, listen to audio, maybe a TV show. You pause it, and you repeat not just the words, but the intonation, the rhythm, the pronunciation.
Finding a role model helps too, right? Someone whose voice you like.
Definitely. Try to sound like them. It helps you internalize those natural speech patterns.
What else?
Reading out loud. Sounds simple, but it's incredibly effective.
Just pick any text.
Any English text.
Yeah.
A book, an article, even just a paragraph. When you read aloud, you're forced to pay attention to sentence structure, practice the right forms, understand tenses in context.
And it helps pronunciation too, obviously.
Massively. Plus, there's this thing called auditory reinforcement. Hearing your own voice, saying the words correctly actually helps cement it in your memory. You're using more senses.
Ah, okay. Auditory reinforcement. Makes sense. What about more, like, real-world practice?
For that, try visualizing situations.
Okay.
Imagine you're ordering coffee or making a doctor's appointment or calling a hotel. What would you actually say? Practice those short, useful sentences out loud.
Might feel a bit funny talking to the air.
Maybe at first.
Yeah.
But it's super powerful for building that muscle memory for common interactions. Low-stakes practice.
Gotcha.
And hey, don't forget, because when you listen back, you hear things you completely miss in the moment. Pronunciation errors, awkward grammar, things you just don't notice otherwise.
That self-assessment piece again?
Exactly. It's powerful. Plus, just getting used to the sound of your own voice speaking English, it really cuts down on speaking anxiety later on. The sound becomes familiar.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Reduces the nerves. Any other techniques?
There's simultaneous practice. This is where you listen to English audio and repeat it aloud at the exact same time.
Not pausing.
Nope, trying to keep up. It reinforces listening and speaking simultaneously. Using those multiple senses again, ears and voice working together, really boosts retention.
Wow, okay. And technology, we mentioned phones.
Tech is your friend here. Use voice assistants, Google, Siri, Alexa. Ask them questions. Practice speaking.
Get some basic interaction.
Right. And talk to Google Docs, the voice typing feature. Brilliant. Practice your pronunciation and see if the computer understands you. Instant feedback.
These are great practical tools. Okay, we've got the foundations, we've got speaking practice. What about keeping it fresh? Some sources mention more fun and crazy ways.
Yeah. These are methods that leverage creativity and just your everyday surroundings, creating an immersive environment even when you're totally alone.
I'm intrigued. Like what?
Try narrating your life.
Narrating my life?
Yeah. Out loud or just in your head. Describe what you're doing. I am walking to the kitchen. I am making coffee. The sun is shining.
Sounds simple, but I can see how that forces you to constantly think in English.
Exactly. It's great daily practice using functional language related to your immediate world.
Okay, what else?
Label everything in your house with sticky notes.
Oh, I've heard of this one.
It works. Put labels on the fridge, the microwave, the sofa, the window, constant visual reminders for vocabulary, and then, crucially, take the note off once you're sure you know the word cold.
Turns your house into a textbook.
A personalized one. Okay, how about using random picture-generating websites?
Oh, how does that help?
Find a site that shows you random pictures
Yeah.
and then describe them in English. What's happening? What do you see? What might happen next?
Pushes your vocabulary, forces spontaneous speech.
Exactly. You have to think on your feet. Another one is the what does it do? Where did it come from? Exercise.
Okay.
Look at an object, say a stapler. Describe its function. This is a stapler. It fastens papers. Then where did you get it? I
Yeah.
bought it at the store. It practices description, verbs, maybe even past tense.
Simple but structured. I like it.
And visually, draw your vocabulary. When you learn a new word, sketch a little image next to it.
Visual association for memory.
It really helps. Our brains love images.
These are great creative ideas. What about fitting English into just normal daily life?
Super important. The sources really stress integrating English into your daily tasks. Use it on your commute, maybe explaining something to your kids in simple English, even just thinking through your to-do list in English.
Making it part of the routine, not a separate study block.
Exactly. Constant, low-stress immersion. Oh, and here's a quirky one. Copying an article with a twist.
A twist.
Put the article at one end of a table, your paper at the other. Read a sentence, walk over, write it down from memory.
Get some steps in while learning.
Yeah. But the physical act, the walking and recall, it actually helps embed the vocabulary and sentence structure. It's multi-sensory learning.
That's fascinating. Okay, one more.
How about recording your daily learnings as your alarm clock?
Wait, what?
Before bed, record yourself talking briefly in English about words or phrases you learned that day. Then set that recording as your alarm.
So the first thing you hear is English you learned.
Yep, reinforces it right at the start of the day. Sets a positive tone.
Okay, wow. That's a lot of amazing tips. But
Yeah.
it could feel overwhelming, right? Trying to do all this without a clear plan.
That's a really crucial point. And it brings us to the strategic side of studying alone. How do you stay focused? How do you know you're actually making progress?
Yeah, without a teacher checking in.
The answer, consistently across the sources, is setting clear goals and understanding your priorities.
Okay. Specific goals, not just get better at English.
Definitely not. Be specific, measurable, Achievable, like I want to master the present perfect tense by next month, or learn 30 new words about cooking this week, or be able to hold a 5-minute basic conversation about my hobbies.
Breaking it down.
Exactly. Specific goals give you direction. They give you motivation. And importantly, they let you see your progress, which is huge for staying encouraged when you're on your own. A structured plan keeps you from feeling lost.
And this connects to priorities, you said.
It does. Look, English might not always be the absolute #1 thing in your life every single day. That's reality.
Life gets busy.
Right. But if improving your English is genuinely important for your future, your career, your travel plans, whatever you need to consciously prioritize it, make time for it consistently. Make a commitment to yourself.
One source shared a story about learning Spanish, didn't they? How their English suffered when they didn't maintain it.
Yeah, that was a great example. When Spanish became the focus, English skills started to slide because it wasn't being actively used or maintained. It's a reminder that language learning, especially if it's a long-term goal, needs continuous effort. Input, output, study. It's ongoing.
That's a lifelong process, really.
It often is.
So putting this all together, we're talking about studying alone, but one source had this really nice thought. It takes a village. How does that fit?
It's a lovely way to think about it. Even when you are physically studying by yourself, you're not truly alone on your English journey.
How so?
Think about it.
Yep.
Online teachers you might use occasionally, online communities, forums, language exchange apps, maybe friends who are further along, AI tools. They all form your support network, your village.
So even solo study has resources.
Exactly. These resources provide guidance, support, tools, maybe even accountability when you need it. You're leveraging this whole network even while you're doing the focused work on your own.
That's a comforting thought. Your individual effort is key, but you're still part of this larger ecosystem of learning. Alone doesn't mean isolated.
Precisely. It means focused, self-directed, but supported.
Well, there you have it. A really comprehensive look at strategies for studying English effectively all by yourself. From consuming content you love, like actually enjoy, to practicing output in creative ways, self-assessment, setting those clear goals. You really do have a powerful toolkit now.
Absolutely. And remember, consistency is really the secret sauce here. Find the techniques that resonate with you, adapt them to your interests, make it sustainable. You absolutely have the power to turn that solo study time into something incredibly productive and, importantly, confidence building.
We really hope this discussion has sparked some ideas, maybe given you some fresh inspiration. So the question for you listening is, what stands out? What's one thing, maybe two, from today that you think, okay, I could try that? Pick something small, apply it this week, see what happens. You might be genuinely amazed at the progress you can make.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.